Imagine buying a car that's practically guaranteed to fail before 50,000 miles. Today, we're exposing the worst cars experts warn could leave you stranded, or worse, bankrupt. By the way, one of these has so many recalls, it's basically a subscription to your local repair shop. Let's roll. Number 10. Ford Bronco Sport. Well, don't let its rugged charm fool you. The Ford Bronco Sport, a dressed-up Ford Escape with a thirst for adventure, has a disappointing track record in reliability. From a complex AWD system that's prone to failure to frequent transmission woes and a massive recall on its 12-volt batteries, these aren't just minor glitches that you can sweep under the rug. You see, between 2021 and 2023, Ford had to recall over 272,000 vehicles due to battery issues that could cause sudden failures and cripple essential systems like hazard lights, infotainment, and even the drive power. Ford's response blamed a supplier's defect, but who cares because that is little consolation if you're left stranded. In short, Bronco Sport is a $30,000 liability that can ghost you when you need it the most. Next is an SUV that took its name way too literally, as many things in it have gone rogue. Sorry, wrong. Number 9. Nissan Rogue. The Nissan Rogue went rogue all right on reliability. The 2025 model swapped its old engine for a turbocharged 1.5-liter, 3-cylinder engine and variable compression technology. However, it ended up backfiring badly. This engine has been plagued by reports of knocking, power loss, and catastrophic internal damage that question its longevity well before reaching the 50,000-mile mark. By the way, Nissan's ambitious shift from the reliable 2.5-liter engine to a smaller turbocharged unit aimed to improve fuel efficiency. However, it introduced significant reliability issues, with turbo lag and durability doubts making it a risky bet for long-term use. Add to that a notorious CVT that could cost thousands to replace when it inevitably fails, plus a recent recall for faulty rear-view camera displays, and you've got a recipe for financial headaches. Number 8. Infiniti QX50. Essentially a Nissan Rogue in a tuxedo, Infiniti QX50 inherits all its cousin's problems with added luxury pricing. Sporting the same problematic turbocharged engine and CVT, this SUV is a luxury car facade with an unreliable core. Owners face brake master cylinder failures, leaking pump seals, and premature brake pad wear. Oh, and let's not forget the unlucky few who've dealt with full-blown engine seizures. But that's just the start. You can also experience recurrent transmission issues and electrical glitches along the way. For the price of $44,000, you could get a Lexus NX that won't demand a second mortgage for repairs. Up next is a cutting-edge EV, whose owners are paying a very heavy price buying it. Number 7. Porsche Taycan. The Taycan, a $230,000 electric supercar that's fast, furious, and faulty. Sure, it'll hit 60 miles per hour in 2.6 seconds if the software doesn't crash first. In this mean-looking beast on the road, software issues manifest in frozen infotainment screens, erratic range estimates, and overheating charging systems. More critically, the Taycan has suffered from brake malfunctions due to software errors, frightening flaws for a car capable of such rapid acceleration. What's more concerning is that Porsche dealers are often unprepared for the complexity of this EV's technology and struggle with timely and effective fixes. Most importantly, Porsche's warranty, 4 years or 50,000 miles, adds salt to the wound. At this price point, competitors like Tesla and Lucid offer longer coverage, making the Taycan's reliability gaps harder to swallow. Number 6. Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe. The Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe tries to mix it up with eco-friendliness and that classic Jeep toughness, but in reality, it misses the mark. You might get excited about the sleek design and quiet electric mode, but the electric range usually doesn't live up to the hype. Expect to fall short by about 20 to 30% from what Jeep promises. And switching from electric to gas is anything but smooth. Think of it more like a rude jolt that can really mess with your ride. The bigger headache? You might have guessed it by now. Well, it's not exactly reliable. Owners often deal with unexpected power cuts and sudden stops, and these issues have led to a bunch of recalls for things like software bugs and overheating batteries. Inside, what looks high-end at first glance turns out to be a lot of cheap plastics and imitation wood, which doesn't really fit the $60,000 price tag. Plus, with its value dropping fast and frequent dealer visits, the 4xe might make you think twice if you're after a dependable hybrid. Hey, if you think the cars we've mentioned so far are bad, wait for the final entry. A vehicle plagued by severe recalls, multiple class action lawsuits, and a reputation that seems beyond repairable. Number 5. Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid. The Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid should be the ultimate eco-family mobile. Quiet electric drives, seating for 7, gas savings. On paper, it's a win, but reality tells a different story. Let's talk reliability. The plug-in version is a letdown, with Consumer Reports slamming it as one of the least reliable vehicles out there. The hybrid system, which should be a highlight, often becomes its biggest headache. Owners report sudden engine stalls, sometimes at highway speeds, leaving drivers scrambling to restart the van while managing panicked passengers. The battery system is prone to failures and has been the cause for numerous recalls. The ECVT transmission, meant to smoothly merge electric and gas power, instead delivers jerky starts and worrying hesitations. And then there's the slew of electrical issues: frozen touchscreens, glitchy sensors, and baffling system errors like service charging system popping up out of the blue. Chrysler's recalls tell their own story. The Pacifica hybrid has been called back for fire risks linked to faulty battery connections, software bugs that shut down the engine mid-drive, and charging systems that overheat. Number 4. Jaguar F-Pace. The Jaguar F-Pace can seduce you with its sleek British design, a luxurious cabin, and sporty handling that screams performance SUV. For a moment, it feels like the perfect blend of elegance and adrenaline, until the cracks in its facade begin to show. Behind the polished veneer lies a vehicle burdened by reliability woes that have haunted Jaguar for decades. Let's start under the hood. The F-Pace's engines, particularly the Ingenium 2.0-liter, turbocharged 4-cylinder, and supercharged V6 variants, are notorious for catastrophic failures. In fact, these engines have widespread reports of reliability issues, particularly concerning the timing chain, which can stretch and potentially cause catastrophic engine damage if not addressed promptly. Owners report oil and coolant leaks that escalate into engine seizures, often with little warning. One recurring nightmare: coolant seeping into the engine block, causing irreversible damage and repair bills exceeding $10,000. The fuel system isn't spared either, with failing high-pressure fuel pumps leaving drivers stranded. Then there's the ZF Source transmission, which in theory should be a strength. Instead, it's a source of frustration. Rough shifts and delayed engagement can affect the driving experience. Pair this with a suspension system prone to premature wear thanks to complex adaptive dampers, and the F-Pace's sporty pedigree starts to feel like a hollow promise. Furthermore, the F-Pace shares its platform with the Range Rover Evoque and Discovery Sport, two models equally infamous for poor reliability. This parts-bin approach means inheriting their flaws, like brittle plastic components and electrical systems held together by hope. So it comes as no surprise that the resale value of this car depreciates 50% faster than rivals like the Porsche Macan or Audi Q5. Before we reveal the final 3 cars, hit like and subscribe now. Who knows, you might thank us once you see the last entry. It might just save your savings. Number 3. Land Rover Range Rover. It won't be wrong to say that the Range Rover is the SUV for people who want to look rich. It's got the posh leather seats, the fancy tech, and that overall vibe that screams success. However, owning a Range Rover can be a frustrating mistake. For starters, the Range Rover's air suspension system, a marvel of engineering that glides over potholes and raises the body for off-road adventures, is a frequent offender. Owners report failures as early as 30,000 miles, leaving the SUV sagging on its axles with repair bills ranging between $4,000 to $6,000. Pair that with frequent electrical issues, oil leaks, and an inconsistent transmission, the reality hits hard. Most importantly, the financial implications are considerable. Over a 10-year period, maintenance and repair costs can total approximately $18,737, which is $4,585 more than the industry average for luxury SUVs. Additionally, there's a 49% chance that a major repair will be needed during this time. Oh, and by the way, depreciation is equally brutal. A 3-year-old Range Rover retains just 35 to 40% of its value, compared to 60% for its German rivals. It stings for a vehicle that starts at $109,525 and goes up to $210,625. Needless to say, these factors make the Range Rover a less appealing option for long-term ownership unless one is prepared for substantial expenses and potential inconveniences. Number 2. Volkswagen Taos. Well, the Volkswagen Taos markets itself as a spunky, tech-savvy compact SUV with European flair. On paper, it checks boxes: sleek design, peppy 1.5-liter turbo engine, and available all-wheel drive for light adventures. But dig deeper. and the Taos reveals itself you should avoid at all cost. Central to its issues is the 1.5-liter turbocharged engine, which has drawn criticism for persistent reliability flaws. Owners report oil leaks, coolant consumption problems, and fuel injector failures, often leading to overheating and premature engine wear. In colder climates, the engine's active cylinder deactivation system, intended to improve fuel efficiency, frequently malfunctions, causing erratic performance and vibrations severe enough to mimic engine misfires. More alarming are instances of complete engine failure before reaching 50,000 miles. Then the Taos' optional all-wheel drive system introduces further complications. You see, this drivetrain exhibits jerky acceleration, delayed gear engagement, and a propensity for premature wear. Drivers describe the transmission as unrefined and unpredictable, with failures often occurring under 50,000 miles. Chances are the transmissions could fail prematurely, and it's going to cost a lot of money to repair or replace. If that isn't enough, electrical issues compound the Taos' troubles. Recurring problems include unresponsive touchscreens, erroneous warning lights, and malfunctioning safety sensors. One common complaint involves the infotainment system rebooting spontaneously, rendering navigation and media controls unusable during drives. These glitches, paired with Volkswagen's reliance on cost-cutting materials, thin cabin plastics, a noisy interior, and a suspension that struggles with rough pavement, detract from the premium experience the brand once promised. Lastly, the ownership costs further diminish its appeal. The Taos depreciates rapidly, losing approximately 45% of its value within 3 years compared to competitors like the Honda HR-V or Toyota Corolla Cross, which retains 60% of their value after the same period. Number 1. Hyundai and Kia models with 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. If you're shopping for a car, avoid any Hyundai or Kia model with a 2.0-liter or 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine. These two engines, part of Hyundai and Kia's shared engine technologies, have been causing chaos for over a decade, and they're still being used in brand new cars like the 2024 Hyundai Kona, Elantra, Kia Seltos, Soul, and Forte. Starting in 2011, Hyundai and Kia began putting these engines in millions of cars, but they were built with serious flaws. Owners quickly reported problems like engines burning through oil way too fast, loud ticking or knocking noises, and sudden breakdowns. The issues trace back to critical parts inside the engine, like rod bearings, piston rings, and seals, wearing out prematurely. Near the end of 2023, Kia and Hyundai had a massive recall of 3.3 million cars due to a serious fire hazard. Turns out their vehicles' anti-lock brake systems could leak brake fluid, leading to an electrical short. This means too much electricity could surge through, potentially sparking a fire in the engine, whether you're driving or just parked. By the way, over 3,100 fires have been reported to federal regulators since 2010, some engulfing parked cars and garages. Hyundai and Kia have known about these defects for years. What's more baffling is that they've recalled over 10 million vehicles globally since 2015. But even after all these recalls, they're still selling new cars with updated versions of the same 2.0-liter engines. However, industry experts claim the fixes don't address the root problems, leaving drivers with expensive repairs and safety risks. Ideally, you'd want to steer clear of any vehicle equipped with 2.0-liter or 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engines, even if the deal seems too good to pass up. That's all for today. Tap the screen for more content like this. See you in the next one.